What's up, everyone? This is Chris Talks Crypto. I'm going to take a look at another stock today. We're looking at Clean Spark today. So this is a Bitcoin mining company, one of the many out there. Actually, there's not a ton. Bitcoin mining is getting more and more concentrated as the days go by. You used to be able to mine Bitcoin just off of a simple laptop. But it's getting to the point where you need more and more power, more and more infrastructure, more and more hardcore engineering to be able to mine Bitcoin, because this is a technological feat. So they're always advancing in technology. And again, this is not 2012 or 2014 where you could just pick up a laptop and start mining. We've gotten much more sophisticated. So who is Clean Spark? They are America's Bitcoin miner. Big claim. Clean Spark responsibly develops infrastructure for Bitcoin, an essential tool for financial independence and inclusion. We strive to leave the planet better than we found it by investing in communities that source low carbon energy like wind, solar, nuclear, and hydro. So they are absolutely, as their name implies, riding the green wave, a clean spark, clean energy. That's a huge narrative right now. I mean, it's something that's pushed by governments around the world. ESG, environmental, social, and governments. That's a big thing that's going on right now. So anything that is riding the environmental wave, you're going to see tax credits rolling their way. They're going to be incentivized to do so. So it looks like they're getting ahead of the 8 ball here. So I mean, that's good to see. Bitcoin mining for a better world. Clean Spark's vision has always been to facilitate abundant, affordable, clean energy. After years of working in the distributed energy space, we identified Bitcoin mining as an area ripe for innovation and haven't looked back. So this company was actually founded in the 80s. So they've been around for quite a bit, and they have since pivoted into Bitcoin mining. Now, obviously, Bitcoin was founded in 2009? Yeah, 2009. And keeping going on. As the world responds to changing climate, by embracing clean energy sources, more energy infrastructure will be needed. We believe Bitcoin mining will be a driving force for delivering those needs. They're pretty good with the Bitcoin mine stuff and the environmental impact. They seem pretty solid. So let's look at their about section. Who are they? They're listed on the NASDAQ. They operate data centers that primarily run on low carbon power. So again, your wind, solar, nuclear, blah, blah, blah. So our infrastructure, responsibility, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We'll look at their leadership team in a second. So where are they located? They are really corporate is on the West Coast, mountain area, really. So you have a corporate headquarters in Nevada and a corporate office in Utah. And then it looks like all of their mining facilities are really in Georgia. I want to say that, I don't know what it is with Georgia, but I want to say that it was either Marathon or Riot that had a big facility in Georgia as well. And it looks like they have one up in the New York area, upstate New York. So the 5 mining facilities, that's pretty good. I don't know what the scale, what type of gigawatts they're putting out, but that's pretty solid. So College Park, Norcross, Washington, Sandersville, Dalton, and then this is Massena, which is in New York. Looking at management, Zachary Bradford, your CEO. Let me see. He looks like he's an accountant. He's been doing this for a while. Private firms, retail chain, master's in accounting for Southern Utah University. They got that corporate office out in Utah, so that kind of makes sense. Communications growth, SVP of mining. He focuses on operations, company data centers. 8 years of experience in Bitcoin mining industry, so that's pretty good. I mean, 8 years at this point, you're an expert. You are an expert in mining, so that takes you all the way back to 2016. So I mean, yeah, you've been around the high tech stuff for a minute, so that's good to see. Again, I'm not going to go into each one of theirs, but it looks like they have a pretty solid team overall. So now let's look at the chart and some of the financials. So again, Clean Spark Energy, they're listed on the NASDAQ. $16.43 is the current price as of February 23rd of this year. I'm sorry, that was a close yesterday at last night. So right now, again, looking at the overview for Clean Spark, that's their chart, kind of rangy at this point, but who are they? Key stats, you had $3.5 billion in market cap. Negative 136 in net income. Again, as I said with the other crypto and mining stocks, I'm not worried about their income right now. If they're still around at this point, they're going to succeed. It's not like they're going to die off right now. If they can survive through 2024 and 2025, they're going to make a lot of money. I believe that for sure. Revenue, 168 mil, which means they're spending on the order of like 200 something million, roughly a little over 200 million. So shares float 192 mil. Okay. Technology services. Again, they were founded in 1987. So that's interesting. Again, this is it looks like they were a data warehouse and services company, and they have since pivoted, which is a smart move on their part. So financials, as you can see, like their net income is negative for all these years. But again, you see it kind of flatlined around here, but then you had the bear market. So and this is the start of the bull market, but again, it's very costly to run this equipment. If Bitcoin's price is not very high and there's not a lot of demand, and which was the case for 2023. We were still up 100%, 165% for 2023, but still it was a very slow year. Let me see, free cash flow. Wow. Yeah. Looking at the earnings, they have consistently been beating earnings for yearly earnings on 2020, 21, 2022, and 2023. If we look at quarters, it still looks like they're definitely beating it quarterly too. So it's kind of tricky to look at the financials for these, because if you look at it, it's going to be like, oh, well, yeah, this is a terrible company or whatever. They're not making that much money. But if you understand the market that they're in, you understand that they make their money when Bitcoin is pumping. So Bitcoin is going to pump really for the rest of this year and into next year. And again, now that the ETFs are approved, it just becomes that much more of a boom for miners. So that's pretty much it on the financials that we know. That was the overview. Let's look at is there anything else on financials? Looks like they got a lot of shares floating out there. It's their market cap, their debt, and their enterprise value. So their market cap is $3 billion. Valuation, growth, and profitability. So the net margin has been increasing, actually. It increased into 2021, then it pretty much stayed flat, but somehow still negative. They're still negative on the margin at this point, but again, to be expected at this point. They're a company that does well in the middle of a bull market. So let's take a look at the charts at this point. Let's take that off for a second. Again, they've been around since 1987, but it looks like they IPO'd somewhere around 2012, 2013. A lot of nonsense action around here, and then it started moving in 2018, which coincided with the previous Bitcoin bull run, which if you look at this right here, that is the run up in 2017, 2018, or whatever this was, some big crazy wick. Actually, most of the activity happened around here, the end of 2017. So they were actually going down at that point. But I don't know when exactly they got into mining. It seems like, as you can see, the chart kind of, it wasn't nearly as noisy over here. It kind of, started having some type of rhythm and pattern at this point. So we go into the bear market and into 2020, and we dropped, and this is COVID right here. And then you have the post-COVID run up, the post-halving run up. And that went from, I don't know, it looks like about $1 to $42. So that's a 40x. That is a 40x on your money. Again, this is not financial advice. I did not tell you to buy anything, but that is a pretty good run up. And I think we're in the beginning stages of seeing that again. So if I had to relate it to anything, it's probably about this area. So we are in the process of running up, and this run up, in my opinion, is going to be much bigger than what it was last time. It's going to dwarf it, because now these Bitcoin miners, they almost have unlimited firepower, because the demand is unreal, and it's going to remain unreal for Bitcoin. As you have these ETFs that have bought in a big way, billions and billions of dollars that have flowed into these ETFs, with the halving coming up in less than 2 months at this point. You're going to see some crazy dynamics with the miners and the profitability and all that type of stuff. They're only going to be producing about, I think at current day, we're producing about 1,000, but they are going to cut that down to about 450 or 500 per the algorithm. That's just how Bitcoin works. Looking at different areas where we could go. Coming up here, putting some drawings back on. We're right here. So it looks like we came up and touched this area that was a previous point of interest. I think we're going to come up here. We can probably go down to the weekly chart, but I'm just marking off key levels because this is one where it's like the technical analysis isn't as important, but it's more so understanding what your levels are and where you could potentially go. So again, I said they have a $3 billion market cap. So if they go to, 30 billion, that's a 10x. So a 10x from where we're at right now is 16. That is 160 somewhere up here. That's a 10x. And then I think you could even go further, but we'll see. Again, a lot of this bear market action that we've had, and now we finally get up to the point where we broke this high. You see, we came up to it once again and then just dropped. I would probably see the same thing here. We came up to this high, dropped. That's a point of interest. And then we'll continue on somewhere in this area. If we continue to look, so like we see here, this was a point. This is a point. This is a point. So this is a decent line here. So you'll probably see a little bit of a turnaround somewhere around $30.61. 30 to 40 bucks. 50, just because it is a psychological level, you'll probably see a pushback before a continued run up. And then from there, it's kind of open air. Like these are all wicks. They don't really mean a bunch of nothing. You'll get up to 75, I think, pretty easily. So that's only a 3x. That's nothing. Then you can get up to 150 potentially from where we're at right now. I think we're at 18 bucks. So 75 is about a 5x. 150 is a little less than 10x. And then you have 200, which is the 10x. Then potentially 400. I'm just marking off levels at this point, like seeing like, okay, well, if we get a 5x or if we get a 10x or if we get a 20x, at this point, 400 would be a 20x, which would put their market cap at about 60 billion. I don't know if that's feasible or not. Again, it's going to all depend on the long term of what is Bitcoin's price going to be. Is the demand is this going to be the cycle of mass adoption where like these Bitcoin mining companies just go crazy and like they are now a staple part of the economy? It just depends. I think we could potentially go to a Bitcoin standard, but we'll have to see. Who knows? But again, those are kind of my targets. We'll talk about those a little bit later when I get to talk about options. Looking at Bitcoin mining charts, we've talked about these before, but in some of my other videos, but let's look at this: miner fees versus rewards. As the price of Bitcoin goes up, the fees are going to go up as well. So that's somewhat of a good sign, actually, just because, again, it's the cost of doing business. If the fees are going to go up, that means that you're actually making more money. So on is this for? I mean, like you see that as price goes up, fees goes up. And right now, the fees are spiking, and they've come back down a little bit as things have calmed down. But the fees are spiking again. I think we're going to see one of these where it came up and came down, and then like now we just have a run up. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We could have like the curve up here, but it's a good indicator to see where we could potentially go. Mining difficulty, that's just going to continue to go up exponentially as time goes by. This is a perfect exponential curve. Mining difficulty will go up there and then just keep going and going and going, and until it runs off the page pretty much, and it's just going vertical. So as time goes by, Bitcoin miner difficulty will get more difficult per the algorithm. Again, that's how Bitcoin is designed. It gets more difficult over time for miners, which is why you have to have these big industrial companies to do mining, as opposed to the people who are mining used to be able to mine on their laptops. And the hash rate will follow the difficulty as well. So the more hashes you have, the more secure the system is, the more secure the blockchain is, and the more overall security that you have, it's more valuable at that point. So this is good. You do want to see this hash rate continue to go up, because that's how you know that your network is secure. What else? Hash ribbon indicator, blue line, which is that price? No, that's the 30-day moving average for the hash rate. This is still very much so above the 60-day moving average. So hash rate is still on an uptrend. We're on an uptrend right now. It looks like, right here you had a downtrend. Really since 2023, what is that? The end of 2022, it's really been up and up and up. We haven't crossed below this purple line. So when you cross below the purple line, you're on I think they mark it off right here. All these red marks are when we cross below, and that means that hash rate is dropping. So something to look at. We'll look at different, metrics for that. Clean Spark. This is where we talk about options. So what are your options for options? Clean Spark is $16.25 right now. If we want to do a long call, again, I am projecting that we are going to have a bull market through potentially the end of 2025, but really probably about mid 2025 or maybe 3/4 of the way through 2025. Split the difference. So I'm looking at long call options. So January 16th, 2026, a little bit. That doesn't mean you have to sell it on January 16th, but that is the option that you have. $7.70 looks like the longest call that we can make at $37. So right now, it's if the price 2x's, we're in the money at that point. So this is going to be out of the money, $7.70, and one contract will cost you $770. Looking at the actual potential profit that you could have, and we talked about a different couple key levels. So you break even somewhere around $48. I think we'll get there pretty easily. Right now we're at $16, so another 10x. $16, 10x, that would be $160. So if we get to $160, you're $11,000 in profit at that point. That's pretty good. Let's say we go up to $250. $250 would be, I don't know, like 200 something percent. That is $21,000. That's pretty good. And then, ultimately, like I said, if we do a 20x, and I think this is a bit of a long shot, but that's a $35K play that you have right there. $35,000 off of a $700 contract. Again, not financial advice. We're just looking at the opportunities here that we can see. But again, I think really all these mining stocks are they're good contenders for the long run. I think they're going to boom for sure. Just because, again, Bitcoin has been given that golden stamp of approval. So I think that's about it. All I really have to talk about. Again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto resources on christalkscrypto.com, and I will see y'all on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.